I don't know how much value I have in this universe, but I do know that I made a few people happier than they would have been without me. And as long as I know that, I'm as rich as I ever need to be.
Hey kid, what time is that?
It's time to refresh.
Back once again with another episode. I'm not even going to say what episode it is because I can't remember. But on this one, we've got Stephen J. You've got many reasons why people would know you in the scene, but more recently it's the Elation brand. My first memory of you was the CD.
Yeah, that's pretty much how everyone knows it.
The whole title, Stephen J. Yeah. I was going to introduce it like that. I was going to say, yeah.
And then I got not again.
Yeah, definitely. But so I thought after I had Howard on, I thought it's a must to have you on because I didn't really know Howard that well and got chatting away, and I know that you've got a big history and bounce over the last 20, 25 years, but I don't know your full story, and I was just a bit intrigued to fill in the gaps that I don't know. So, what did you have for tea last night?
What did I have for tea last night? Egg on toast.
Egg on toast.
Yeah.
Classic. We're not feeling hungry now.
No, I made the kids burritos, but I'm on the bread line.
I know the feeling. My little lad knocking around in all the best gear, and I'm here in my scabs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
chicken and steak burritos. Egg on toast.
Yeah, I know the feeling. It's absolutely like that in my house. But good dinner. What did I have for tea last night? Fuck. Oh, it was fish and chip Friday. We had fish and chips, and I was telling you about the studio off pod.
Someone's doing well.
I know. Have you seen the price of fish and chips nowadays? I went in and two fish and chips, and it was like 20 odd quid, and I was like, "What the fuck for takeout or something?"
No such thing as cheap as chips anymore, mate.
Yeah, I know. So I was there, and we had. So for those who don't know, I was talking about the studio on the last episode. Basically, the studio's finished now. I'm just waiting for the backdrop to arrive, and we'll be up and running in there. But it's a studio / cinema room for my little lad. So last night I said you can watch whatever you want, and we'll sit and have fish and chips, and you can watch it on the big screen. So I pulled the big screen down. What do you want to watch? He wanted to watch Batman and Robin, which was the one with Schwarzenegger and George Clooney as Batman. The worst Batman ever, by the way.
Yeah.
It's the worst one. I don't care what anyone says, it's terrible. It's terribly bad, it's actually kind of good. Anyways, so I had fish and chips. Back to your story. Where did it all start for you?
As in?
Who is Stephen J?
Originally I was from Earlstown. I'm not from Wigan originally.
Yeah.
Then I moved to Adoc, and now I'm Stephen J from Wigan. Yes. Always been into dance music.
What's your earliest dance music memories, just so I can get a gauge of you as a person?
I used to hang around with people older than me, so I used to get all the old school tapes, you know.
Yeah. So what
Juicy
is
Red Apple and all that type
okay.
of stuff. I was into that and old school hip hop.
Right. So what's this? It must have been like early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1991.
Yeah.
I used to pass tapes around in school and stuff like that. You know, all the early Entropy and all the really really early stuff.
Yeah. Lovely.
Pleasure Drone.
So. What was it? A big culture within your school?
Yeah, such? I think it was. I think it's a big culture in the Northwest in general, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's certain eras though when you look back, and there's like where music was very prominent in people's lives, and then I think if you look at kids nowadays, like my little lad, he likes music and stuff like that, but it's all about like digital media content, like this, like YouTube and
both
stuff.
Both my kids are into old school hip hop.
Are they?
Yeah, don't really like dance music.
Oh, that's
but
good.
To be fair, I'm into old school hip hop, so I'm not.
Do you think it's rubbed off?
Yeah, definitely. My eldest lad's just started going to events, Part Life, but mainly because Part Life have Wu-Tang on.
Yeah.
Part Life year before had Fiddy on.
Yeah.
You know, but he did say he enjoyed Fisher and stuff like that. So since then he's been to a beefer and he's going to Creamfield. So
class.
He must be
on the cusp of it.
Warm into it.
Yeah.
Don't like that donk shite though.
Obviously, I've noticed it's not much of a younger person's.
No.
How old is he? If you don't mind me asking.
He's 20.
20, right? I work with a few 20-year-olds, and then they're apprentices, and all it seems to be is
Ben Elmsley, Patrick
Yep.
Topping, Hannah
Yep.
Lang, yeah.
and drum and bass. That's their two things. They went to a couple of other lads who I work with. They went to Ibiza last week or week before, sorry, and they went to these drum and bass nights. And they were sending me videos now.
He's not asked about that. He went to Ushuaia, Calvin Harris.
Yeah.
Said that was him.
Class.
Yeah,
Expensive though as well.
send me a few videos. You know, I'm not really asked about Ibiza. I've never been, but I was like, fucking hell,
It looks
that
good.
looks
You do want to experience it though. Like I think I'm gonna probably go at some point because just to say you've been like and I seen a picture. Have you seen a Privilege?
Yeah.
Have you seen the new pictures that came out a few months back? And I thought I've missed out there.
I know, but if I go to Ibiza, what's the next question going to be? What do you have for your tea? Fuck all.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it'd be fun though. No, if I think it would probably be the only place in the world I'd truly let my hair down as well. Like, if I got about yeah, but no. Metaphorically speaking, you could let your hair down because for me, I go to bounce nights and I'm never 100% like I'm getting on it again because I don't really drink as much.
Me neither.
Yeah, for the
To
audio
be fair,
listeners.
I used to always drive to bounce events, drive home.
Yeah,
But I've started staying over.
Yeah, and is that
having a bit. I enjoy it more.
Yeah,
having a beer and
getting into it.
Various other.
Yeah. Well, I think that for me, because I came into the bounce scene on this side of I've never been the raver as the bounce head, so I've always had that type of relationship.
See, I
with
wasn't
bounce.
when I was a raver. There was no such thing as bounce.
Yeah, well, not even bounce. Just this, whatever this scene is we've got in general, whether it's
do
you know what I mean, old school or hard house or whatever it is. This northwest dance scene, I've never been the raver. So
you've always been behind the decks.
Yeah, and I've never been able to let my hair down. Whereas if I went to somewhere like Ibiza, it's like
no one knows who you are.
Well, even if it was a club full of bounce heads that I knew, I'd just be more comfortable knowing it's not. I don't need to worry about the music that's on. I can, if you want to have tech house on, if you want to have drum and bass on, you want to have whatever's big in Ibiza right now, put it on and I'll just enjoy myself. Like I think that's my stance on it. I think that's why I want to go to Ibiza, but at the same time, it might get messy. Do you know what I mean?
I'm too old for that shit now.
You never say that. Honestly, I always thought there'd be.
Imagine bouncing around a club and your fucking 20-year-old lad comes fucking bouncing up to you.
What do you mean? That happens a lot.
I don't think I'd like it personally.
I was at. I don't know. I know where you're coming from, but I was at BTID Wonderland last year, and the amount of people who was like either mother and son.
Yeah, I know it.
dad
I
and
see it a
lads
lot. It's just I don't think it's for me. That.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I don't think our Bailey would like it if.
Yeah. Oh, his mate's gone. There's your dad.
There's your dad. Yeah.
I know where you're coming from.
Look at the state of him. He's bladdered. I'd get sent home. So,
Yeah.
No, I that's not.
My little lad now gets embarrassed to me when I go and pick him from school. So you know what I mean. I can imagine what it's like.
Imagine what it'd be like if bumped into him in a Ushuaia.
Yeah. On second thoughts, I might not go then.
Or just don't go when they're there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll just go to one of them things. You see a lot of them. I'm sure, like, is it Slipmat and that do that? They're like the old school. I'd probably go to that and enjoy that.
Unity in the Sun, is it?
In Greece, I've been to that one of them ones.
To be fair, they look good.
Yeah, I was the youngest there at the 2018 one when I went. I was the youngest there by 15
by a
years.
lot.
Yeah. And do you know something? So welcoming, so welcoming as well. Because like they're all just people who this is their highlight of their year. The retired or lapsed ravers, and they've just come out to relive the youth in a sunny place, and it was banging. But yeah, that's probably what appeals to me the most.
For me, a holiday's a holiday.
Yeah,
I like to go away with my family, chill.
Yeah,
you know, chill by the pool.
Yeah,
have a few beers. Well, have a fucking shitload of beers.
Yeah.
I'm one of them waiting for the pool bar to open at 10 a.m. You know what I mean? Eat loads of food. For me, a holiday isn't going away
on a mad one.
Mad one.
Yeah.
Then when you come back, you need a holiday to get over the holiday.
Yeah,
I like that's what it's never really appealed to me.
Yeah,
you know, you can go clubbing. I know it's not the same as a beef. It's different, but you know, you can go clubbing here every weekend. You can't go and sit by.
I know where you're coming
sit
from.
by a pool in 40 degree heat and.
Yeah, I know.
Drink FS and stuff like that every week. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, it's a different type of when you get drunk on holiday as well. Do you think it's a different type of drunk because of the heat and that? You're a bit like sometimes it gets.
I think I just drink myself sober.
Oh yeah, or it's really shit.
Start in the morning and still going at 2 a.m.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
And then up at 7 to save your sunbed.
That's exactly like my.
I don't do that. I ain't one of them.
No, but you're the first down at 10 o'clock waiting for the bar to open. Yeah.
Definitely. On the sunbed that I've saved it.
So so where did it start for you then? Like you were saying about the tapes and stuff.
I used
like
to get
that.
the tapes, so all the old school stuff. Early, it was like early breakbeat hardcore, early piano stuff. Then I got a Zone tape. I think it would have been a Jenks one. So all the Italian piano stuff.
Right.
MCIRE, you know.
So was it at this moment in time? Was it when that tape had first been recorded and it was circulating?
I don't know. I used to have we used to have a caravan, like a static caravan. We used to go away to every weekend.
Yeah.
Mum and Dad. We used to go over there. So there was like people from all over. So I had quite a few mates from Blackpool. So obviously they got Zone tapes,
Right.
sequence tapes. So
Right place, right time for you then to collect them.
yeah. So I think when I first got a sequence tape, I've been listening to Zone stuff, and you know the synth stuff has just started coming in.
Yeah.
Then I got a sequence tape, and it was like, what the fuck's this, man? They played synth mixed in with hardcore, mixed in with really old shit. It was.
So was this like Fever and stuff like that? Yeah.
Funky B, Ricky, AJ,
and Jagger and
yeah. It was like, wow, this is a bit of me. This because obviously I liked happy hardcore as well.
Yeah.
I used to buy. I think I got decks when I was about 14.
Yeah.
And I didn't. Obviously, you don't drive. You could go into town and go to HMV, and back in the day, you couldn't really buy. Like when the Scouse stuff came out, you used to be able to go to Liverpool HMV, and all the big tunes would be in HMV.
Yeah.
Originally, it was like
the odd bit.
The odd bits. You couldn't really get anything.
Yeah.
You know, and then
or nowhere to get it.
Maybe if we went out on a day out to Blackpool, I could go into Melody House.
Yeah.
You know, and pay £80 for a fucking Italian tune what you didn't even know the name of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like it didn't happen. And then when I started collecting, started getting bits. Once I started driving, I used to go out, buy records, stuff like that, buy a lot of happy hardcore, which I've still got down there.
Becomes very addictive, doesn't it?
Got a lot. Started getting Italian. Bought a lot of it quite cheap, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know, that was my main at the time when I first started. It was happy hardcore and Italian. That's what I used to mix.
Building up your collection.
I'd never mixed any of the old Foreplay shit until I met Ricky. Right.
Can you remember the first record that you got?
Not a clue.
No. Not even the first, say, a happy hardcore record or.
Honestly, I've got that many down there, mate. If I showed you, I couldn't. Used to go to Willie Banjo's in Preston.
Yeah.
You heard of that?
Yeah.
Used to be a guy in there that used to run it, and he was a DJ. Baby Lee, his name was. He used to do bowlers, and he used to run an happy hardcore night up in Huddersfield. So I used to get a lot of shit off him. I bought quite a lot of records of him, but not a chance I can remember the first.
No,
possibly Heart of Gold, first happy hardcore. In fact, no, it weren't. Vibes and Wish Doctor. Was it like a prayer remix?
No, the Vibes and Witch Doctor one was the
Rave is a Mystery.
Yeah, Rave is a Mystery.
That's the first happy hardcore tune I bought.
And then there was what was on the, I can't remember what was on. I've got the record. It's on the flip side. They had that big piano one.
Yeah,
that it was sped up.
That's the first happy hardcore tune I bought. Rave is a Mystery.
Class tune.
Yeah.
Class tune.
Still got it.
Yeah, unbelievable tune. That a massive. Vibes.
First Italian tune I bought, I think, was Two Brothers on the Fourth Floor. Never Alone.
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know it.
Dancing together.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Class. So you sort of know what you're looking for when you early on then, like, because I mean they're anthems. Do you know what I mean? So you had an idea of what you were into.
Yeah, that's it. I was tunnel vision. It was either Italian. Yeah. Anything I'd heard on Zone tape, so anything Pendle or Stu Davis had played, then I'd go into Melody House and be like, right, have you got that? Blah 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 blah. I had quite good mates with Phil from Melody House. He used to bring tunes to Maxine's when Zone was at Maxine's for me, so I'd buy them there.
Yeah.
Or I'd go out and buy happy hardcore stuff.
Right. So I've never actually spoke about this with anyone else on the podcast. So just a good question that popped into my head then. See, when you were looking for tunes, right? I started off on vinyl, even though I'm a bit younger, because I couldn't afford to buy CDJs because they were fucking really expensive.
And there was no such thing when I started out.
Yeah. As I say, I think I started much later, but I remember looking for a tune, and say you said you heard it on a zone tape. Were you ever experimental with regards to, right, well, I've never heard this on a zone tape, but it sounds similar into the style.
Yeah, there were certain tunes I bought what I had never heard on zone tape.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, what was it? Linda and Co.
Yeah,
Just can't get enough. I remember buying that from Melody House for like, Phil had played it to me. I'd never heard it on his own tape, and he played it, and he was like, yeah, it's alright. It was like a tenner. It's probably worth about fucking 200 quid, that tune now.
Yeah.
It's gone. I've sold it. I ain't got it anymore. But
Yeah.
never played it in a club. Hate the tune.
I like it.
I hate it. I hate that tune. But yeah, there was certain stuff I would.
Because I remember when I started out, I didn't know where people bought records from. I didn't know. I was just literally looking around the area, what fucking like secondhand shops there were, or what people I knew that were I dabble in DJing, what collections they've got, and if they were selling them and stuff like that.
That's the best way to get them.
So I was flicking through stuff, and at the time, in my head, I knew like my favourite DJs growing up. This is going to make them sound ancient, but when I was about 10 or 11, my favourite DJs was John G and Rob K, and they were two completely different styles, but the blend of the two is what I like. And I'd hear tunes in my head, that's a Rob Kane tune. I've never heard him play it, but I could imagine him playing this, or this is a John tune, I've never heard him play it, and I've always been like the tune finder, where it's like you look for a tune that no one's been hammering.
Yeah, well, I only did that once I started DJing, like in clubs.
I think my head works weirdly.
I basically got thrust into buying hard house and trance. I'd never. It wasn't my scene. It was just like I said. I got to know Ricky and that, and he was like, "Have you ever?"
So where did this come along then in your journey?
That was Maxime's, Zone at Maxime's. First started going out. First proper club I ever went to was Dance Factory, the Mill in Preston.
Right.
Zone. It was like fucking hell. This is mint. Used to go there, bowlers for the happy hardcore.
Did that get your like that whet your appetite sort of thing? Like
I was always in the zone, and I was too young to go to venue in Jenks, and then Dance Factory probably went at 18 years old. Do you know what I mean? It was like fucking hell, this is brilliant.
But you were like, I'm coming back next week.
Or we got a bowlers to
Yeah.
get the happy. I was like I said, it was Italian or happy hardcore, and it was two massive ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So we got bowlers, we got happy hardcore nights, so Vibes and Lively, DJ Sci, fucking loved all that shit.
Yeah.
When Zone then moved from the Dance Factory to Cricketer.
Yeah.
That's where I first went to the Cricketer. Mm-hmm. It was a shithole, fucking. But Zone nights were there, and they did Zone happy hardcore nights there. They did nights called Stomping Stilton.
Right.
So they bring like Vibes and Dougal and stuff like that down to the Cricketer in Wigan. So it was like best of both worlds for me.
Yeah.
Then they left there, went to Maxime's. So
are you just following these guys at this point?
Just like I said, still going to happy hardcore.
Oh yeah.
Helter Skelter and stuff like that.
But the main night you follow is a sort of Zone.
Then Zone went to Maxime's. It was like, well, brilliant, Zone's at Maxime's.
Yeah.
I'd been to a couple of Back to the Old Schools at Maxime's, which was always a good night. Rough as fuck. It was like the Wild West.
Yeah.
Honestly, proper moody gaff. All the Salford fucking lot in there. But Zone was a different vibe. It was dead friendly. Mm-hmm. Everybody used to go to every Zone event. That's where I met Howard. All the Preston lads, they were all sound. Met Sam White. Mm-hmm. Never spoke to Pendle there, which is mad because me and Andy are like really good mates now. But Andy Pendle was like, Andy Pendle, innit? You
don't approach him.
Yeah. Ricky came along a bit after a year of Zone being there, and he just got back into DJing, and Ricky was like fucking pissed talking to people and stuff like that. Yeah. So I got talking to Ricky, and he said, I'm selling some tunes. Are you interested? I was like, yeah, sound. So he's like, right, I'll come round yours tomorrow and bring these tunes round. So I'm still awake from the night before on the decks in my bedroom in ADOC. My missus, who obviously I'm with now, she was with me, and Ricky came round and I'm mixing Italian. And he's like, "Fucking hell, you're really good. Like, have you never tried mixing new stuff?" And I was like, "Not really, no." So he pulled some stuff out, right? Mix that. And he was like, "Right," he said, "You need to be on in the club." I was like, at the time, I'd put a tape in to Zone.
But never heard anything.
No, apparently, I'd never been told, but I had people coming up to me in the club saying, "Fucking hell, next on at Zone, you." I was like, "Yeah, nice one. What are you on about? Fucking hell, you're next on at Zone." So apparently, Phil had told people that I'd give a tape in and it was really good.
Yeah.
I was going to be the next DJ on Zone, but he never actually told me.
Right.
So I was like, Ricky had said, like, "You know, you're going to be the next Zone DJ, aren't you?" He's like, "You know, do you not fancy like playing some new stuff like in a club?" I was like, "Yeah, fucking brilliant." He went, "Right." He said, "Think of a name for a night and we'll sort it." Ricky was a doer. Do you know what I mean? So thought of a name. It was going to be called Fired Up.
Right.
Then he rang me. He went, "I've got a club in Atherton." He said, we're going to do this night there. So I was like, "Fucking hell, this is all happening. You know, this is brilliant. Fucking ace." Still not heard nothing from Zone. Still going to Zone. And then he rang me up and he went, "We're not doing that club in Atherton." So I was like, "Oh, fucking hell." He went, "I've got a meeting at the Dance Factory in Preston."
Right.
Fucking hell. First club I ever went to.
Yeah.
Potentially going to be DJing there. I was like, "Fucking hell, this is unreal." He went, "How would you feel about Andy Pendle and Sam White coming on board?" I was like, "Yeah, fucking hell, unreal." Do you know what I mean? So I went for a meeting there and got this night at the Dance Factory. Anyway, Maxime's got wind of it. Mm-hmm. Said to Ricky, Andy and Sam, "If you go DJing at the Dance Factory, you don't play at Maxime's anymore." So they were like, "Well, fucking hell, I'm sick of being told what to do. Sick of playing Italian shit. I want to play new music." Zone wouldn't let them play new music. So, right, we're going to go and do it. So that's how Foreplay started. Mm-hmm. 4 DJs. Yeah. All playing.
Right, there
Foreplay.
you go.
That's where the name came from.
Yeah.
We'll gloss over the fact that the original logo looked like a swastika.
You have to show me that because I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's like four arrows.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it makes sense.
Fucking bull. It was like, "Ricky, that looks like a swastika." It went out on the big posters, you know what I mean? It was like, that's why it changed to the F.
So you've got potential Nazi logo and a sexual innuendo.
Sexual innuendo. I'm playing fucking Hard House and Trance. But yeah, that's how it started for me in a club. So played at the Mill first night.
How were you feeling with this first night coming up?
Shitting myself. Absolutely. Didn't eat anything all day. Fucking nearly puked up on the way down there.
Yeah. Were you nervous about playing or about attendance? Because obviously...
Nothing. I weren't asked about attendance. I was just nervous about me doing my set. Yeah. I've never DJed in a club before. Only ever played in my bedroom. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So never DJed through monitors. Never even done a sound check in a club. It was like, I've never DJed in a club before. Planned the set. Fucking perfect. Fucking amazing. Gets down there. So I think Sam did the warm up and then went on a bit later. So he did like half an hour warm up and then it was me going on.
Out of interest, what was played in the warm up? Because you were saying you wanted new music. I'm just trying to gauge it.
The newest stuff, what Sam used to play at Zone, so like DJ Tricks, Red Eyes and stuff like that. He was playing all that type of stuff. So I went on there, like loads of anthem type stuff. So gets in the DJ box, the record box, that one down there, pulls all my tunes out. Andy Pendle turns up, puts his record box next to him, and starts pulling his tunes out. And I'm like, shit.
He's playing what you have.
Shit. Fucking I thought, I can't go on before Pendle, play all these big tunes. I probably should have thought about this really, but I didn't. Yeah. I was just hell bent on doing a really good set.
Yeah.
So I just went on and played a load of different shit, B-sides and stuff like that. And that's kind of where everyone was like, fucking brilliant, that. And it was like, you've done really well there. I was like, so even though I planned the set for the first night,
it played all the reverse
just completely went. I didn't even fucking play them in order. So since then, I've never planned a set. That taught me that
straight off the bat.
Yeah, don't plan your fucking sets.
Yeah, I can understand. There's nothing worse than obviously there's levels to it, but turning up knowing that you've got say a legend on and they've got signature tunes.
Yeah, but I mean at the time, Andy was playing Zone, so like stuff like El Nino, Benedict Brothers.
Yeah.
I obviously didn't put them in, but it was like shit like Lock and Load and stuff like that. Andy had never played that.
It's fresh, isn't it?
He'd never played that at Zone. It was like a big tune at the time, but obviously he bought them to play, and I didn't want to
shit on his chips. Yeah.
Now I wouldn't give a fuck. Like that. Do you know what I mean? But that kind of gave me my own sound, because that week I thought that ain't fucking happening again. I'm going to go out and I'm going to find.
That's just where I was getting at before.
Shit what I want to play.
Yeah.
So I went out, drove fucking everywhere, hot wax in Warrington, came back, Brain Bashers, Sound of Now, 12-inch thumpers, Crazy Kids, Funky Rhyme, Beat Busters, all the shit now what still get played on bounce nights. I brought them to Foreplay. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
It's like the bouncy hard house sort of thing.
Yeah. They were shit. What's the other one? Fucking Junk Food Junkies, The Journey. Yeah. Stuff like that. And then you kind of found that these idols of mine were then saying to me, fucking hell, they're mint tunes then. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of fell into my own sound. I was kind of forced into it really, because I wanted to play all the big anthems, but I couldn't. And that's pretty much... It was a surreal situation for me. I think the second night at the Mill, we used to do Fridays at the Mill every Friday. Yeah. Second night at the Mill, I stood in the DJ box DJing, and I turned round, right, and I've got Andy Pendle, Ricky, Sam White, Stu Davis and Dave Taylor all stood behind me, just
nice
chatting away. Fucking now we're moaning about people having camera phones in a club now. I wish I had a picture of that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I just turned around and thought, fuck me, I think my ass went again then. Shit.
It's no pressure. No pressure
at all.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from. Yeah. So obviously the Foreplay brand sort of took off at the Mill. So am I right in thinking something must have happened because you?
We had a bit of a meeting about like how we could get. We did all right in the Mill. When we got there, apparently they were getting like 10 people on a Friday night. The club was doing shit. Saturday nights, marginally better. We went there, you know, and numbers were increasing. Yeah. So we had a bit of a meeting after 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month, I don't know. What can we do to get more people in? So I said, well, what about trying to get like the Preston lot in that got his own? Yeah. Play like a few Zone tunes. And Andy's like, what, you're not playing Story of You and I went, no, I don't mean shit like that. I mean stuff like KMC and Danny and Kim Wilde, Breaking Away, stuff like that. Try and stuff what will go in with the hard house and trance stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, that could work. I said, well, what about getting an MC? They were like, they weren't really keen. I was like, but, you know, just like someone
just
compliment the music. This was before all the biddy bollocks. Do you know what I mean? So Ricky's like, what about AJ? Yeah, AJ's fucking one of my favourite MCs, but will he sound right to hard house and trance? And Andy's like, what about Jimmy? And Sam's like, not interested type thing. So like, whatever, I don't care. Sam's too laid back and chilled, isn't he? So Ricky went, what about FEZ? I was like, I haven't got a clue who fucking FEZ is. And he was like, oh, it's some lad that I know, you know. And that's when Farrell came along. And the first night what Farrell came, they were like, well, we don't want MCs on our set, so he's with you type thing. Do you know what I mean? You can have the last hour. Yeah. Farrell on, see how he goes, you know. Farrell's quite a shy guy, isn't he? You know what I mean? So Farrell just, I'm there, gets on the decks. Farrell comes up to the DJ box, plugs his mics in, doesn't say out to me. Gets on the mic, fucking hell, this guy's fucking good, do you know what I mean? And we proper rocked it, and at the end, still didn't speak to each other at the end. Yeah. We just fucking gave each other a nod, do you know what I mean? And then that was it, that's how Farrell came on board. So yeah, the numbers started coming up then. I think Farrell used to bring a lot of people down with him from Bolton and stuff like that. Yeah. And then, I can't remember what happened, I'm not sure whether Farrell rang me Friday night and said like, have you heard about the Mill closing? And I'm like, what are you on about? Like, I've heard it shut. Like, first I fucking heard. So we all turned up with our records. Club was closed. So basically what had happened, right, the manager had gone on holiday and the assistant manager had took it on himself to fuck us off because we got the Fridays busy to get rid of us and then put his resident DJs back on. Because we got a crowd there. Obviously, it didn't work, and then the club closed pretty soon after. But that was it. But before then, we'd spoke about doing an old school night, Italian type stuff. It was like, will it work at the Mill now? You know. And I was like, what about cricketers in Wigan? Because obviously I'd been there at Zone that was shut down. Ricky was a doer. Ricky got on the phone, got cricketers. So that we'd already done an old school Italian night at cricketers. So as soon as the mill shut, it was like boom, let's go.
So was this what 2000, 2001?
2001.
Yeah, right.
2000 when we started in the mill. It might have been 2000 actually. So we weren't in the mill for that long.
Yeah.
So that cricketers was shut. I think it was a gay bar. It was called the Hollywood Bar.
Right.
It weren't called. It's not even called Cricketers. It's called the Cricketer. Everyone just calls it Cricketers, don't they? It was shut. So we went in there for a meeting. Obviously, I was the only one that had ever been in there.
Yeah.
Andy, when Zone went to the Cricketer, Andy went to Bowlers. So none of them had actually been there. I think Fever did a few nights there, but Ricky had quit.
Yeah.
So we went to the Cricketer, and that's pretty much it. We did every Saturday night there for 2 years.
Yeah. And how was it carrying over the crowd? Obviously, for me, I think I'm not from around this area, but to be able to bring your crowd from Preston over to Wigan, is that easily done?
I don't think it did. I don't think it happened. I think a lot of the people that used to go to the mill were probably
local
from this way anyway.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it weren't a case of Preston people coming to us. It was that people from round here used to go to Preston.
Were you nervous about the fact of, like, obviously you're changing towns then? Where are you going to get the sit?
I think it was just a case of fucking, we need a club.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Let's just do this. And
see if it works.
You know, we had some absolute shockers at the Cricket. I'm not going to lie. We had nights when we closed really early. Do you know what I mean? We had, a lot of the time, we wouldn't get busy till 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because we were open till 6.
Yeah.
It was like a Monroe type thing. When the pier shut,
everyone went down to the cricket. After parties.
It was later on. So sometimes early doors at the cricket was fucking dead.
Yeah.
But, you know, we had some absolute blinders in there as well. And I think the Cricketer paved the way for a lot of events.
Absolutely.
Like Sanctuary and
It's
Attack places.
It's created a whole branch of what I would call like the Lancashire dance scene.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of there's a lot of people if you talk to people who's been around for years, chances are they've passed through there.
When we first started at the Cricket, though, it was still hard house and trance.
Yeah.
Now Wigan's a different breed.
Yeah.
But at the time, hard house and trance was what was about. There was no bounce. You know, then you started getting bouncy house sections in the record shops. So, you know, some of the hard house producers were putting donks in tunes and stuff like that. So the music kind of changed. It changed a lot when Brownie came on board, PMB.
Right.
He was Wigan, used to go to pier and stuff like that. Brownie's the one that brought the bootlegs and stuff into the crick. We had him on. He used to run a night called Quadrillion.
Yeah, I can remember that.
Round Vic round the corner, which was a proper. It was like Beirut in there. Do you know what I mean? It was just. If you drove up to it, you'd think it was. It was shut down. It was just derelict. When you went inside, it was dark as fuck. Just speakers, no lights.
Yeah.
MC Joker, PMB. Do you know what I mean? I played in there once, and it was like a scary place. That. Anyway, we had him on as a guest, and he brought a shitload of people with him. His missus at the time, Dion, she brought loads of people from the pier, and it was like, right, well, you know, we all kind of like Brownie. It was like, well, let's bring him on as the 5th member type thing. But he introduced the True Love Never Dies type bootlegs and stuff like that. He was playing all the big pier stuff at the time, whereas we weren't. You know what I mean? We were playing like hard or trancey.
Yeah, so, more underground stuff.
Yeah, so that's kind of like, you know. And then me and Pendle sort of followed suit, and then I started playing stuff like Music Is My Life and Wand, Happiness and stuff like that. Ricky used to bollock me for it. We're an hard house and trance night. I remember once we'd done an event at the Crick, and me, Brownie and Ricky went postering on the Monday for another event what was coming up. It was at the Crick. And I had the tape from... I used to do the recordings.
Yeah.
I used to sort all the recordings. Sometimes we won't make any money in wages, but I was knocking fucking tapes out from the DJ box, you know what I mean? And it was like, well, there you go, lads, there's loads of money there, you know, split that. So anyway, I had the tape on, and I was playing like hard house and trance, and halfway through, Music Is My Life comes on. Ricky just turned around. The fuck are you doing playing this on an hard house night? And I was like, they had it, they loved it, it was fucking brilliant. It's like that. Turned the tape over, and Andy had played, he played? Massive Dance Attack. Right? Okay, and I was like, you're not going to fucking say out to Andy though, are you? Do you know what I mean? Ricky just went, what you like? But after that, everyone kind of started doing the same thing. So like, you know...
And this is where this is sort of all sprouted from,
multi-genre type shit, you know.
So, is there a certain night within that time frame that sort of sticks out to you then?
Looney Tunes was a good night.
Right.
Did a night called Looney Tunes. I think that was the tape actually where I played Music Is My Life.
Yeah.
We had a few really good nights. We had a few
stinkers as
really
well.
fucking shit nights. But I mean, we had DJ Psy on once in there. That was good.
Yeah. What, and was that more for like he
played old school.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, we did. You ever heard of Good Times?
Yeah.
We did a few. I think our old school night was called Ultimate Revival.
Yeah.
We ripped it off from a fucking night what was on at Bowlers. So we did Good Times versus Ultimate Revival. We did a few of them. We had Sion playing old school, but everyone was disappointed because they wanted him playing Shooting Star and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we booked him for an Ultimate Revival night, and we had Sion playing Happy Hardcore, which was great. I got him to sign my copy of Shooting Star. It's still in there.
Class.
In a plastic sleeve.
Class. Right, I'm going to ask you a question, but I'm just going to take a quick break if that's okay. We're back in 2 minutes. Hello, how are we doing? Before we start this episode, I just want to give you a little bit of a plug and promo on Fiddy's little venture we're going on there. So go on then, what is it?
So we're the Gate Street Bar and Grill in Blackburn.
Sell it to me, baby.
So we're Mexican street food based, but with a little bit extra.
Right, go on.
We pride ourselves on service. We pride ourselves on big plates and leaving the customer satisfied.
Excellent.
We're never going to be the place that people come for because it's cheap and it's convenient. You're coming for a good time out.
This sounds like my type of gaff.
We promote communal eating. We promote the tapas style eating, where you're not just out for something to eat. You're all trying each other's food, and it's a community experience.
I'm a big sharer, me, because then see for me, what the thing is with this. Say you've got this dish here, and this dish here. What you can do is you can go. I'll have a try of that, and if I don't like it, I won't get it next time when I'm on my own.
Yeah.
So there you go. Have some of that. I'll have some of that. Some people hate sharing. Why not? I've tried a bit of everything. So go on then. What's your best seller?
The best sellers? They all come from the steak range.
Yeah.
I stick to rump.
Yeah.
I feel it's the best steak, the best cut, the best value.
Right.
But I add my touch to it. So I've got my own seasoning, my own spice blends.
Yeah.
Everything's fresh. Fresh deliveries every day.
Mm-hmm.
We don't freeze ever.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's straight from the supplier to the fridge to the grill.
Yeah.
We just don't. I don't feel like I'm giving the best value for money by pulling out a bag of frozen shit.
Yeah.
It's got to be fresh. Fresh is best.
Right, there we go. So I'm going to put the address below and the name, and you can have a check out of that. And what are you offering people who watch the podcast?
So if you come and you give the code word Riffresh, we'll offer you 10% off.
There you go. Have some of that. 10% off with the code Riffresh. I'm doing this to help promote this because I feel like I'm going to tell you right now. I haven't had it yet, but it looks amazing, and I'm about to go and have a plate full of food. So. Yeah, nice one, mate. Come on. Excellent. Back for part 2 of the pod. Going to ask a question, obviously, where we finished the conversation just then. I want to get onto this. The famous CD, the Hold Tight Stephen J, Not Boy PMB. Was that just another night at the cricket for you?
That wasn't a Foreplay night.
No.
I'd left Cricketer.
Yeah.
I wasn't DJing there. Foreplay left the Cricketer because the manager at the time kept promising that he was going to spend some money on the club and do it up, blah, blah. Kept promising, never happened. We were doing loads of bits in the club.
Yeah.
And Ricky had a big argument with him and said, right, and he just came up to us and went, right, we're leaving. And we were like, what the fuck?
Was this a midnight or
midnight. He's like, this is our last event. And we were like, Ricky was kind of the leader of Foreplay. Like I said, he was the doer. He used to do the artwork, get the flyers printed, blah, blah. I'd never promoted before, so I just used to look up to Ricky. Ricky took me under his wing and taught me what to do. So we left the crick, that was it. That's what paved the way for all these other nights to go there. So we were clubless. Ricky got the Springbok in Wigan. Do you remember Springbok?
No, I don't.
They were like, I think they were a chain.
Right.
So they were more commercial. Springbok wasn't doing well, like the Mill wasn't, so we got in there. It was King Street, Wigan, big club.
What is it now?
I think it's shut. It was called the Hub.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know. Yeah,
it's a big club, holds about 1,200 people.
It was
something like that.
decent sized club,
Yeah, so it's like, right, we've got Springbok. Friday night was Foreplay.
Yeah.
Saturday night was the club night,
Yeah.
which we DJ'd, but it was their event.
Yeah.
Sunday was old school.
Yeah.
So I was DJing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was absolutely raking it in.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant. I never touched my wages for 6 months while we were there. So we were DJing at Springbok, and in between that doing guest slots as you do as DJs. So Friday night was all of us. Saturday it was rotated me, Andy and Ricky, 2 of us every time.
Yeah.
Some nights then two were busy, so I'd do 9 till 3 by myself.
Yeah.
It's great. 250 quid in my back burner for doing something that I love. So yeah, that whole tight Stephen J, I'd done the Springbok, left there at 3, got to the Cricketers for 10 past, and I think it was on the decks by 3:30, and that's when that CD was recorded.
Right, so it was... But
I
for you,
I don't even know what event it was. People think it's a Foreplay tape, but it's not.
Well, I'm sure I could track it down and find out. But off the top of my head, though, when obviously you were playing these guest slots and stuff, was it another night at the Crick then? It was just another night at the Crick.
I think it was just a residence night.
Yeah. But when that's been recorded at that time, you didn't know it was going to be one of the most recognised sets.
I didn't even know it had been recorded until DJing Carlisle.
Yeah.
What was it? Chris Dynamite.
Yeah.
Destiny.
Destiny. Yeah.
Right. He booked me and Brownie, Avi, and Joker to do a set, and Brownie booked a minibus and drove like loads of us from Wigan, and sat in this minibus, and this fucking tape comes on, and I was like, sounds familiar, this, and that was the first time I'd heard it, and that was probably possibly a few years after.
Years after?
I'd say a couple of years.
Wow.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
Well, I'm from Whitehaven, obviously. I was saying before, but this circulated. This circulated.
It went
everywhere.
everywhere. It got to Scotland. I had people fucking messaging from Scotland about booking me to DJ in Glasgow and stuff like that.
Yeah, off the back of this.
Yeah, all off the back of that CD.
It's crazy.
It went. What was that record shop in Carlisle? Was it Real Records?
There was that, and there was is it Pink Panther?
I think it was Real. A girl that used to go to Zone, Carol.
Oh,
Tony Graham's auntie or Tony Graham's cousin.
I don't know, but I know you're on about there.
Yeah. She was fucking... I don't know if she was duplicating it or what and knocking it out in her shop, and apparently sold a shitload of copies because I'd seen her at either a Zone or Fever event at Heaven and Hell.
Yeah.
And she remembered me from going to Zone, and I mentioned I was DJing now at Stephen J, and she was like, fuck off. And I think even she went all tight, Stephen J and the Bad Boy PNB.
But like it's become like it's how can I describe this best? It's become like part of the framework of
it's the sesh CD, isn't it?
It's that's what it is.
Farrell fucking hates it.
Yeah, I know.
Farrell thinks it's shit.
Yeah, I've asked him. Yeah, but the fact is, it's so renowned. With the I asked I had Finchy on the pod, and
it's Finch's inspiration, isn't it?
And Finchy knew it word for word, and that was
if you listen to that CD, I think it's got Brownie playing Ian Van Dahl Reason.
Yeah.
And then he stops and he puts Someday on.
Yeah.
And he's queuing his next tune up. And then he just goes, it's getting towards the mix point. And he just goes to me, I need a piss. And passes me the headphones, right? So I basically jump on the decks, throw cheeky tracks. Which one is it? Keep on Pumping It Up.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah.
The Kylie Minogue one. Gotta keep on pumping it up.
Yeah.
I literally basically, he hands me the headphones, fucks off, it's the mix point. I literally just grab a tune out of my box, put it on the decks, and just mix it
on the fly.
The fly straight in. So that I was just like, what the fucking hell, Brownie? You know what I mean? That was the first tune that I played on there. I probably wouldn't have even chose that record. It was just the first thing that I pulled out and threw on. Iconic
now though, isn't it? It is iconic.
That's why it's fucking... That CD's all over the place. So if you listen to it,
it's plastered all over the internet as well. Even obviously,
but I mean, all over the place as in like the tunes what are on it.
Oh,
you've got like 12-inch thumpers, fucking, and then if you listen, you've got the type of shit what I was playing at the Springbok, because don't forget, Springbok was Wigan Town Centre, it was King Street, so I was playing Superstar because the night That's why, because the night is that I'm waiting because the night. That's why that's on that, because I've got a box full of fucking
tunes you've just been
box
playing
full
in
of
town.
fucking chase that I've just been playing.
Yeah. Makes sense. So after the fact of the cricket and stuff like that, you left with Foreplay and stuff, and you were doing the Springbok. What came next then?
I jibbed it for a while.
So what year was this?
04, possibly.
Okay.
You need to ask Farrell.
Yeah.
Farrell's like Rain Man when it comes to dates.
Yeah.
Farrell could tell you the date I probably had a shit, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Farrell knows all. Farrell never came to the Springbok with us.
Yeah.
He stayed at the Crick. But I think it was 04. My missus, when we were at the Springbok, my missus was pregnant with our first lad. So when he came along, I was like, I can't be arsed being out every Saturday night till all hours. So I just kind of went, I'm taking a break. While my little lad's a baby, do you know what I mean? And up in the night doing night feeds and stuff like that. I don't want to be leaving it to my missus while I'm out DJing until daft o'clock. So I knocked it on the head. People were asking me for bookings, and I just knocked them back.
Yeah.
So then when I came back, I found it hard because I'd knocked so many bookings back.
Yeah.
The bookings, when you knock bookings back,
They dry up.
Yeah. Don't know what year that was.
Do you have a rough idea?
No idea, mate. My memory's shit when it comes to stuff like this.
Yeah.
What did we do after that? Possibly Fusion in Workington or DNA. I think it was Fusion after that.
So we're talking about 2007, 2008.
I've got the posters in there. I think it was 2007. I still got the posters for our first night at Fusion.
I don't know if
Styles and Breeze on. Did you go to it?
No, I was too young. Yeah, I only went to the under 18s there. I didn't go to over 18s.
But basically, I think Zone did a night at Fusion in Workington, and I went up with Andy.
Yeah.
Fusion was a fucking ace club.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was absolutely
unbelievable. People don't realise how amazing that club was.
So they did Zone at Fusion. I messaged Dobby.
Right.
He was the
promoter there from Dad's Factory.
Yeah. He was kind of not sort of the promoter.
Yeah.
So I messaged him and said like a Foreplay, blah blah blah, and he was like, right, we'll do an event. We'll put Foreplay on there. So we did quite a few events there with Styles and Breeze, Alex K, Ian Redman. It kind of fizzled out, started to fizzle out a bit. They started off really good, and then after that we went to DNA in Blackpool.
Yeah.
Did a few Foreplay nights there.
Yeah.
Had a bit of a falling out. Ricky left.
Right.
Ricky basically got us on at DNA. He knew the guy that was running it, DJ DeVito. I think him and Sam knew him. He used to come to the Crick, actually. I'd met him when he was really, really young.
The name rings a bell.
17 or 18. And he was like, fucking, he weren't a DJ then. Then when I seen him next time, he was fucking scratch master, unreal, do you know what I mean? So he was the resident DJ on the Saturdays.
Yeah.
So we started doing DNA. And then I think Farrell took over as the promoter.
Yeah. So that would have been 2008?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Then we started a night called Organised Chaos.
Right, I recognise that name as well.
Foreplay versus Dance Attack.
Right, yeah.
Now they were fucking unreal. They were absolutely rammed.
Excellent.
They were really, really good nights. We had like, I think the busiest night we had on, I think we had 750 in.
Where was this at?
DNA.
DNA, right, yeah.
Or 650. I think it was 700 capacity. I think we had 650 and we had DJ Demand on.
Excellent.
But he went off and started playing Happy Hardcore. I think Grundy had to go and tell him to calm it down a bit. I'm not even sure if Grundy took him off in the end.
Excellent. I know what you mean. So you got the bug back then at this point then?
Yeah, well, I was kind of then running Foreplay because Ricky had gone. It was kind of me and Sam that were doing it. Andy was still part of it, but Andy's never really liked the promoting side of it. Andy's Andy Pendle, and he just wants to turn up, DJ,
and go. Yeah,
fuck off,
makes sense.
You know what I mean? He doesn't want to be running around.
Yeah, doing shit.
Pasting fucking posters up and handing flyers out and shit like that. It's not his thing. Yeah. I didn't particularly like it, but we did it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
In fact, when we were at the cricket, me and Sam White used to do... No, we weren't when we were at the cricket. Where were we? Might have been at DNA. Me and Sam White used to get the job of going flyer in the pier. And one night we'd been sat in here. And it got to 2 o'clock and I was like, I can't be arsed fucking doing this fucking shit. So I came up with this brilliant idea of let's do a drive-by. right? So basically, Sam drove. We drove past the pier, and I just fucking threw a load of flyers out the window, thinking, well, everyone's going to pick them up off the floor, and it's just the same as flying. Didn't. They just stayed on the floor. That was a shit idea.
Yeah, bit of a shit idea.
Especially the price of flyers and stuff like that. So
Not the brightest one.
Not the brightest one. Not my finest moment.
No. So when it coming up to sort of like the 2010 onwards, what was it like then? What were you busy with?
Fucking no idea, mate. What did we do after DNA? Probably jibbed it again for a bit.
Did you? Yeah.
Did the odd bits here and there. 2010. I don't even know what even clubs were around at that time.
Yeah.
I know. Before Pure was Pure, it was 51st State.
Yeah.
Used to DJ there. Brownie was kind of doing the promotion there, so I played there quite a bit. That was quite good.
Yeah. What style of music was that then?
Bounce.
Was it just bounce? Yeah. So sort of moving forward then, what was the next big thing for you going forward after that?
For me,
yeah,
probably when Farrell started doing the crit reunions. Actually, no, me and him, after that, me and Brown, Maxine's opened up, didn't it? As WM1.
Yeah.
And me and Brownie were putting nights on there.
Right.
Some nights were good, some nights were shite.
What was it called? The night?
WM1.
No, the night.
Bounce Energy.
Rings a bell, but I
and then we did Parda as well. Used to
yeah.
club in
Parda Lounge,
So you forget a lot of shit, don't you? I probably kept busy all the time, really. Yeah, we were doing that. We've completely skipped over the bit where we started producing records as well.
Oh yeah, we'll get onto that as well. Go for it, mate. So, what I know of this, you're gonna fill in the gaps. But what I know of it is there was a couple of vinyl releases that came into the record shops in Workington, I believe I bought it from, and it was the Foreplay DJs. It came in as that, and I was like, Foreplay DJs. I thought it was just a brand of thing. We'll have a listen to it.
It was the Four Players.
Yeah, Four Players. But it was the same logo.
It was the same. It was the F on the record. Yeah. The first tune we made, right? Me and Andy, we were talking about let's make a tune. How hard can it be? Type thing.
Yeah.
Used to be a guy that used to run Good Times, Ben Fisher.
Right.
He'd made a track. Me and Andy drove up to Huddersfield or fucking back of beyond where it's cobbles and fucking whippets and shit like that. Do you know what I mean? We drove up there. Ben Fisher showed us how to make beats and stuff. At the time, it was Acid Pro.
Right.
Still probably the only program I can use to make tunes. I went to college and did fucking Cubase. Still don't like it. Ableton's fucking alien to me, and Fruit Loops is just like, what the fuck.
Yeah.
So yeah, Acid Pro. It was Acid Pro and Soundforge we used to use to make tunes. So me and Andy, one of my favourite old school tunes was Get Crazy.
Yeah.
Shirley Lewis, Feel Alright. Back then you couldn't like rip vocals off stuff. So the only bit we could take out of the tune was Feel Alright, Feel Alright, Feel Alright to get carried away. So that was the first track,
right.
Feel Alright.
I see.
Me and Andy made. Ricky did the B-side, which is, he basically sampled, what's that, Can't Feel My Feet. The dinky one.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're on about,
Is it Dave Austin?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he sampled that and put Love Commandments over the top of it. So that was the first release on Foreplay Records.
Yeah.
Sam wasn't on the record because he hadn't got involved in it, which I thought was a bit tight at the time. We're a team, do you know what I mean? I was like, well, Sam's name should be on the tune, but anyway, I won't go into that. So yeah, that was the first tune that came out, and me and Ricky drove down to London to this dodgy little housing estate where this guy had a vinyl pressing thing inside his flat.
Right.
Unreal. Went down there, he mastered it all, compressed it, had all the fucking gear inside this little flat, in there smoking weed and stuff like that. We're like, where the fuck are we? Do you know what I mean?
Do you know who it was?
I have no idea what his name was. No idea. Pressed 500 copies of this tune, posted him. Basically, me and Ricky drove down there with the tunes on CD. He mastered it. We paid him, and he was like, right, I'll post the tunes to you. We were like, okay. Off we went. Posted the tunes to us. Me and Ricky distributed him. We didn't use anybody else. We went round in the car, went to Power Records, blah, blah, blah. Went to Power Records, and Mikey B was in there. He listened to it and he went, I'll play that. He went, I'll put it on a peer CD.
Right.
We were like, he said, if I put this on a peer CD, he said, you'll sell a fucking load of this. We were like, right, mint. He went, one condition. He said, you can't give it to them fuckers round the corner. Now, at the time, you had Power Records and you had Flawless Records,
right,
which Brownie ran with Charno. So, Brownie was our mate. Power Records were going to put it on a peer CD. It was like, what do we fucking do here, man? So Dad did a bit.
Rock on a hard place.
Did a bit of a vote, and it was like, well, we'll go with Power Records because we want. To be fair, that's our biggest selling vinyl. We had to get a repress of it.
Yeah.
So we sold 1,000 copies of that. But yeah, Brownie was gutted, and I felt like shit because me and Brownie were good mates, and he took orders for the tune, but it was like it's one of them. It's like you say, rock and a hard place. Terrible decision. Yeah. So we did quite a few releases. Got better as we went along. Yeah, and then that, like I said, that's Ricky left. I think Ricky had started making funky house, and he made this tune. It was a Jamiroquai remix. Now the rules were with Foreplay was if any of us made a tune, it came out as us all. Do you know what I mean? So we were all making bits individually and stuff like that. We just used to release it as Foreplayers. We'd all have input and like finishing it off and stuff like that. Ricky had made this Jamiroquai tune, and I think somebody wanted to sign it. So he was like, well, I want to bring it out as just me. And it was like, well, that's not the
it
rules.
Defeats the object,
that's not the rules type thing. And we had a bit of a spat, and I think that's what Ricky ended up leaving. Obviously we're mates again now. It was just childish fucking argument over nothing.
Shout Ricky as well, by the way. Just released last week on Trick Records. New
Made up for that, man.
Fucking class.
Unreal.
Class, yeah.
He's always been talent, that guy.
Yeah.
Always.
Class. It's a big release, that, though. Do you know what I mean? Class. So, yeah, going forward. Sorry, interrupt.
Yeah, so, yeah, no, you can interrupt with that. It's the right thing to do. So we carried on making tunes. We did a few. By that time, we were getting Mark Aldrich to distribute them. Icon, was it Icon?
Oh, yeah, I know you're right. Yeah.
He was distributing. And then that just fizzled out. It was just like...
Yeah, so this is...
I was driving down to Sam's house every Friday night and we were producing stuff, and it was like... A lot of the times we just end up fucking sitting there and just...
Messing around and...
fucking about and fucking... Yeah. So, yeah, that fizzled out. And that was the end of the four players. Sam then went on to make... started doing breaks and stuff, didn't he? And like his octo tracks and piano head and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Ricky fucked it off. Andy was making old school stuff, and I just couldn't be arsed and was doing nothing.
Now it's gone the full circle though, and you've got, we'll talk about this as well, a couple of tunes being made.
Bought a PC, had the plans on getting back into it, but ended up going in with Kenny, and I know a lot of people frown upon making a tune with Kenny Hayes.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong.
It's just an engineer. It doesn't.
He is. I think there's two ends of the spectrum though.
Yeah.
There's people that go, Kenny, will you do me a remix of Ian Van Dahl Reason?
Yeah.
And he does it. That's cheating.
Yeah.
I go into a studio and sit there and
like I said,
choose the beats, choose the donk. You know.
When I heard Sound of Now remix that you did, right? I heard it and I was like, you've clearly had input on that. It doesn't sound like a generic rebound studio production. You can hear your influence. You can hear what you've been influenced by. So that's perfectly fine. Like I engineers are sound, but if you there's a difference between getting an engineer to produce your ideas and ghosting a track. If somebody's just paying someone 200 quid, there you go, make me a tune.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's wrong. But I also don't make any bones about it. When I'll release a sample, I'll tag Kenny in it. I'll blatantly say, I've been to Rebound Studio and I've done this with Kenny.
Yeah.
Now there's people in there that don't want anyone to know. Do you know what I mean? But there's people on the internet that are slating people for doing it, and they don't know half of the people that go and use Kenny Hayes. That's my issue with it. There's people out there that DJ for certain brands, and the people that run them brands make tunes of Kenny Hayes.
Yeah.
And they're fucking slating it. That's wrong.
Yeah, makes sense.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally
There's a lot of people that you think when you go in and you talk to him, you think, fuck off, he made that here with you. I thought he'd done that by himself. You know, there's a lot of people, what people don't know, do it.
Yeah.
That's my issue.
Yeah, understandable. I think that like I said, there's a difference between having it ghosted and engineered. That's where it splits my decision. I don't care what other people are doing, as long as it's adding growth to the scene and whatnot. But if you're claiming to have done something you never done,
It's bullshit. But they just don't lie about it. But I also try. I've probably done about 10, 11 tunes of Kenny now. I'd like to think the majority of them are different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They don't just all sound the same.
Yeah.
I've got a couple that have been signed to Cheeky with Dave Gray.
Yeah.
Like I said, Sounder Now. Apparently Dave messaged me and said he played it at the Tiny Weekender. He said it fucking went off.
There you go then.
He said Rachel Shock even played it. Who was part of the Brain Bashers.
Yeah.
Who loves the remix.
Yeah.
So I've done another one, a remix of Blowout. Bass Selective, was it?
Yeah.
That's been signed to Cheeky. That's coming out, I think, at the end of the year. I've got a few on Bounce Heaven. I've had one on Acceleration.
It's not a bad little.
I've got a few that I've not even sent anywhere.
Yeah, it's a good.
I've actually got two
start.
on Bounce Heaven now at the same time.
Yeah.
Complicated and one I've done with Howard, Never Too Late. Which is,
right. Oh yeah, that's a good tune.
Clearview remix of the old Scouse classic.
Right. Well, what we'll do is we'll get on to we've skimmed around it, but the Elation thing.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about the idea behind it, and then we'll talk about the event coming up, because I just seen you drop the flyer for it a couple of days ago for the second birthday. So what is Elation?
Elation is a club night at Reaver in Preston that we play a mixture of classics and upfront bounce.
Yeah.
Possibly a bit of trance thrown in there.
Yeah.
You know, it's not multi-genre, but it's not just fucking donk 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 over the top.
Yeah. Very appealing. Very appealing.
It's basically when we book people for Elation and they say, what type of stuff do you want me to play? I say, well, what's the name of the event? Play shit that makes you feel elated, basically.
Self-explanatory.
Yeah. Like I said, I met Howard 1998 in Mac Teams. I think he was 18.
Right.
Just used to have a crack with Howard and his lads from Preston, you know, had a buzz at Zone. Kept in touch with him over the years. He DJ'd me, and when we did Foreplay, I was still heavily into the Italian stuff. And I was like, Farrell was into Italian. Guessed he was into Italian. So it's like, let's start a little branch off Friday night. Reach for the Sky. It was Italian. And I would DJ'd at one of them events. I think that was the first time he played in a club. Probably the first. I think he might have done a couple.
Yeah.
And then didn't speak to him for years, and then Facebook came around, and you know, he put a post on about buying decks and stuff like that, and I said, look, you know, for you to start collecting again and buying vinyl, it's going to cost you a fortune. Just get a controller. Yeah. So he bought a controller. He started putting mixes out under the name Elation. Didn't even think anything of it. Didn't even think, wow, that's a fucking really good name for an event. It just, even though it was staring us in the face, didn't think of it. He'd put something on about doing an event. How good would it be to do an outdoor event at some park in Preston? Yeah. I messaged Howard and said, like, I'd not promoted for a while. I said, like, you know, if you want to put an event on,
we'll get on it.
Let's me and you do an event. And he was like, yeah, I don't know what happened. I'd have to find the conversation. I don't know what happened after that, but nothing was said. Chatted over Facebook. Nothing else was said about the event. Lockdown happened. I got talking to a few guys on Facebook. Steel Andy, the Old School Anthems YouTube channel. We started talking in one of the groups or something, and I don't know. I think I might have sent him a few old school mixes, maybe old Foreplay mixes, old Italian mixes and stuff like that. And he putting them on. Got chatting to Landy, got good mates with him. Another guy, Scrim. So we got talking, and then we had a WhatsApp group, and Landy had put in there. There's another guy I've been talking to. I want to add into the group. It's like, who is it? Howard. I was like, Howard Bolton. He was like, yeah, it's like fucking me and Howard are mates, stick him in, do you know what I mean? So we had this WhatsApp group and then started chatting and stuff like that. And I think that's where it came from. Howard messaged me one day and said, there's a possible venue in Preston.
Yeah.
It's an old bingo hall. A lad that I know has got a contact. There used to be 3 members of Elation. It was me, Howard and Danny Riley.
Yeah.
So Danny Riley was the contact. He knew the guy that was running Reaver, and that's how it all happened. Went in there, had a look at the club, thought, fuck me, it looks like Maxime's this, and that's where basically, pardon me, where it all came from.
Yeah, got off, like I said, this off pod, fucking brilliant venue, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Look, it's got that real peak bounce energy vibe to it, where it's like, it's not, I said to you off pod, it's not the glitz and glam of a super club, but it's not a shithole club.
It's not far away.
Yeah,
and it's quite big. But
where them lasers you had in last
the
time.
Stage, we always have the lasers. Them lasers every event, impact lasers.
Yeah,
wicked. He does. The guy does all the big like Ravers Reunited and stuff like that.
Look fantastic,
unreal. It's tailor made for it though.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically right. We went in there. We were unsure of what we were going to do.
Yeah.
Because we'd over lockdown, I got a mate with Andy, and he had this YouTube channel, and it was quite popular. You know, people were sat.
I can remember it. Yeah.
We were going on old school anthems. I didn't like the name because there's already an old school anthems. There used to be a forum called OSA.
Yeah.
And they have done a few club nights. But anyway, I messaged Landy one night. I fucking had a few scoops. Messaged him. I said, look, I've had an idea. I said, you might go for it, you might not. And he was like, what? I was like, let's start an old school anthems Facebook page. I said, we'll start doing live streams on there.
Yeah.
Get guest DJs on, because obviously I know a few people.
Yeah.
And we'll do that. And then when Clubland opens up again, maybe look at putting an old school event on. You know, let's baby steps. So we did that. So when we went into Riva, we kind of doing all right with the old school anthems live streams, and people were watching them and stuff like that. And it was like, well, do we do old school anthems event here because we kind of already got a bit of an audience, or do we do something different? And it was like umming and ahhing over it, and then it was like we wanted to do a bounce event. And one day we were in the club and he went, you're not doing one of them bloody bounce events, are you? I've seen them, they're fucking mad, I don't want that shite on here. It was the manager of the club, and it was like, shit. Well, we wanted to do a bounce event. I was like, well, no panic. What we'll do is we'll do a classics night.
Yeah.
You know, tell the DJs, you know, play
vocal and classics.
Vocal classics, just keep the donk out of it, because that's what people associate with bounce, even though bounce is a bit of a
bigger spectrum.
People are tunnel vision and just think, well, bounce and donk are two separate things. Well, they're not. It's fucking all falls under the bounce.
The same brand, yeah.
So, book the DJs, booked Pete Daly. What type of stuff do you want me to play? Classics, you know, bounce classics, just light on the donk. Candy and Grundy, same. First night, everybody just fucking went and played fucking bounce. They played classics, but everything had fucking donk. It was all over the place. It was fucking great.
Yeah.
Anyway, we did the first event, and then the manager went, I want you to put a bounce night on. I was like, what? He was like, I want you to put a bounce night on. I was like, I thought you didn't want bounce. Apparently, bounce was frowned upon in Preston.
Right.
Something happened, some event happened in Preston, and somebody took a dodgy E. They didn't die, but they associated it with bounce.
I'm sure.
Even though people can take a pill at a fucking rock night, you know what I mean? It's
people always do that. It's like, oh, rave music, it's ease and whatever.
And
it's like, you can go to a rock night and they're taking heroin. It doesn't matter.
And they're smashing fuck out of each other on the dance floor, but it's a mosh pit, so it's okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, he wanted us to put a bounce event on, so that's why we kind of. We've already started with the classics. I don't want to drop the classics because I love the classics. So we started incorporating a bit of new bounce into it, and that's kind of where Elation has ended up. It's a bit of an amalgamation. Yeah,
you've had a few events there, but I'm just going to sort of plug this now. You dropped the second birthday event the other day.
2 years, eh?
2 years of Elation. So obviously you've went with a lineup that's that complements the style of what you go for. And as I say, like, it looks brilliant.
23rd of September, Riva.
Yeah. if you're thinking about going, just go. I'd recommend it.
Cheap tickets as well. That's one thing we've always done.
Yeah.
Even we started out with an affordable ticket price. Do you know what I mean? You see fucking bounce events and they're charging £30 by the end of
everything.
You know what I mean? It's like £10 a ticket. The lineups aren't shit.
Yeah.
The lineups are not £10 a ticket lineups.
Yeah.
So that obviously shows you that we're not just into it for the money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We're into it to put a good event on. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, and we've always put decent lineups on.
Yeah, like I said, when I've listened back to the recordings, you always put DJs and MCs together you wouldn't typically see together as well. Like, fantastic. One of the recordings I was listening to, I think I mentioned this on another podcast, but it was like, I'm sure it was like Easy, Layback, and I can't remember who the third one was, but it was like typically you won't see.
I think it was Easy Layback and Master C, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I remember that night. That was the first birthday when we had Antidote on.
Yeah.
And I remember listening, and I said to Howard, "Fuck me, Layback's holding his own with M2 because obviously Easy's he's a rhyming MC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Layback's more.
He's a viber, isn't he?
Yeah. But he was fucking going toe to toe with M2 rhyming.
Oh, he's good. He's a man.
Layback loves it. Layback doesn't turn up to every event. Now Layback loves Elation. He always says to me, and Howard, it's my favourite event this. I fucking love it. He turns up, we look after him. We look after all our artists, but yeah,
you can tell in the recordings he's having a good time as well.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves it.
But yeah, well, now we've talked about that, I just want to sort of sign off today then, mate. Been a brilliant podcast. Your story is, I think, it'll shock a lot of people of how much you've covered in the years you've been doing it as well. Do you know what I mean? But before I sign off,
shock people how old I am because I don't look it, do I?
No, I don't know how old you are, but if you're around in the 90s, mate, you don't look like you were. No, yeah, I'll just sort of sign off like I do with everyone. You've got you're on getting the electric chair because I don't have a reason because you seem like a really nice guy. But you get in the electric chair, you get your last meal, you get a starter, main, dessert, and a beverage. What you having?
Starter, Gambas Pill. Garlic and chili prawns from Spain.
Right, okay. I can't say I've had it, but it sounds
Have you
really
never been
good.
to Spain? You only get them little terracotta pots. Little brown terracotta pots.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, of course.
And it comes sizzling with the prawns
Yeah,
and sliced
yeah,
garlic
yeah.
and chili.
I think...
Unreal.
Yeah, I think I have had it.
That's my starter.
Right, yeah. Not off to a bad start, to be honest with you.
Main course.
You've thought about this beforehand, haven't you?
I used to be a chef, mate.
Oh, did you? Oh.
But I could either go posh or I could go like...
Just what you enjoy, we'll go for it.
I like everything, mate. Jerk chicken.
Nice. What you having with it, though?
I'll go rice and peas.
Yeah.
Sweet potato mash.
Right.
Sour cream and chive.
Fantastic. That's a bit of me that, you know... You can't say you were a chef and you had fucking egg sandwich for tea last night. I'm not having it.
Yeah, but I cook the kids fucking...
Yeah,
I'm doing homemade pizzas tonight, mate.
Yeah, right, okay.
Homemade pulled pork, actually made the base, the lot.
Okay, that's fine.
Stone baked.
Yeah, but it's alright for you to have an egg sandwich.
I might have egg on my pizza. Like an egg
I did that the other day, actually. It was really nice. I'm all about that. I love it.
Pudding, sticky toffee pudding, vanilla ice cream, butterscotch sauce.
Nice.
Or creme brulee.
I'm a creme brulee kind of guy as well. Hey, I'm happy with that, you know. What are you washing it down with, though?
Peroni.
Good pint, perfect pint. I noticed you're on the Coors there. I like them. They're not my go.
Do you know what, right?
If you're going to wash it down with a Coors, I was about to just
I'm on
leave.
I'm on Coors is I've got bottles of Amstel in the fridge in there.
Okay.
I'm more of a bottle guy, but I thought, well, I'll be up and down every fucking 2 minutes with bottles because, you know.
No, there's not much in them.
When I get going, I can drink. I've done quite well today. I've only had 3 pints of Coors.
Yeah.
I did have 4 bottles of Amstel before he came, but
Okay.
that was Dutch courage.
Okay, that's fine, unbelievable.
Not that I've come across nervous.
Not at all, not at all, mate. Do you want to say thanks for coming on? It's been an absolute pleasure. If you've enjoyed this, then share it with your mates. This has been a brilliant story. I've thoroughly enjoyed listening to this as well. It's I make these podcasts because I feel like a lot of people have got a story to tell, and I'm a podcast listener. I listen to all sorts of podcasts, like comedy podcasts, information podcasts, real geeky stuff as well about stuff I'm interested in. But this is why a podcast. It's because of stories where I can listen back to this and I don't like the sound of my own voice, but I could happily listen back to this podcast again and just be like,
I won't be listening back.
Good
to it.
episode,
I
this.
fucking hate the sound of my own voice. Hate it.
Just want to say thanks everyone for listening. As I say every week, share it with your mates. And if you've enjoyed it that much, you can sign up and get early access at patreon.com/itstimetoriffresh. That gets you early access. You get it on a Friday instead of a Monday. I tell you this every week. It just sounds like repetitive shit. But what I'm saying is, now the studio's here. I'm going to be doing Patreon exclusives where we dig a little bit deeper, and it's going to be a deep dive. I'm not going to say it's going to be Joe Rogan 4 hours podcast, but we're going to get a bit deeper. Cause
I reckon I could probably talk for 4 hours.
I think you could as well.
I've missed
so much out.
Shitloads out of that.
And I can guarantee. I haven't asked him yet, but I can guarantee he's going to come on for a part 2 because there is. I've got a lot of questions. So yeah. Nice one for listening.
Part 2, I'll have Peroni.